What is going on? It's Zedmont. I get asked 1, 2, 5, 100 times a week about why I do specific things with Zookas, like damage specific buildings, artillery marking, all that sort of stuff. So I thought I would make a video dedicated specifically to that. So what I've got is I made up a test platform. Let's have a quick look at it. What I've got is I've got 3 ranged weapons, 2 shock launchers, and a rocket launcher, and 3 single shot defenses. Nothing else is in range. The rocket launchers have all been moved back. Everything is clear. So all it is these buildings in a nice little cluster. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you if we attack realistically the back 3, that rocket launcher and 2 shock launchers are our primary concern. But I'm going to show you with 3 boats. Uh-oh, my smoke was not good, but we're not that worried about it. Still didn't lose any troops, I don't think. Nope, didn't. So if we park right in the middle, Zookas are going to attack the closest building. And the closest buildings are going to be that cannon at front and that sniper tower at front. I'll shock just to show you what I mean. And down they go. So really, we didn't lose any troops there because we knew what to shock, but we didn't really care about those 4 buildings that they removed. Like, 3 of them were useless, 1 of them was good. So not a very good ratio. And if that was an operation attack or a war factory or something like that, probably would have been a failure. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go a little bit more advanced. I'm going to put some damage on this back shock launcher. Now, I'm going to park, let's do our 4 boats again. I'll park in the exact same spot, and we'll see what happens. So, if there was no such thing as artillery marking or damage marking or whatever you want to call it, our Zookas would remove the cannon and the sniper tower. I'm going to do the exact same shock, and we'll watch. So they take out the shock launcher, and then they come back and take out the front closest ones. So by design, Zookas remove the closest defense first unless something is damaged. If something is damaged, all bets are off. So now what I'm going to show you is how you can use that to your advantage. So if we come into here, and I'll show you without marking first, let's do 4 boats again. I'm going to flare to the exact same spot every time. If I want to remove the rocket launcher and the 2 shock launchers, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have to flare, let's flare this shock launcher first. Then I'm going to do the same thing, I'll do my shock. And then I'm going to have to flare the rocket launcher. And then I'm going to have to flare the shock launcher. And now we've used, look how much our flares are. There are now 6 GBE for our next flare. So if I wanted to carry on and come back here, we've now used 6 GBE for a flare, and I had to time those exactly right. If I would have timed those flares a little bit off, I would have had to, they would have hit my Zookas would have started to shoot defenses that I don't care about. So instead what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and I'm going to drop down an artillery here and an artillery here. And the reason why I didn't do it on the edge of the shock launcher and the rocket launcher is I just didn't want to accidentally kill that rocket launcher. So same thing, we're going to do the same drop that we've done every other time on this. The exact same flare, the exact same smokes, more or less. I'm totally screwing this up. But you get the basic idea that we're in the same spot with, I'm not going to use any flares here. Like, we'll shock the exact same stuff. Okay, here's our shock. And now watch what the Zookas do. They automatically take out the most dangerous defenses first. And you'll notice that now I've got 95 GBE, whereas I had 88 last time after those 3 defenses were gone. And now my flares are only 3 GBE to get to here. So I've saved a whole bunch of GBE. And if those things had huge health, you don't want to have to waste time with your Zookas taking out the wrong defenses. So it makes things a lot cleaner and a lot easier to predict if you use damage on the defenses you want to remove. And that way you can park as far away as you want, like as long as they're in range of those Zookas, which Zookas have a 6 square radius. So as long as you park somewhere about here, all we've got to do is put some damage on some stuff, and we know exactly what is going to go down first. If I parked right there where that flare is, they would take shock launcher, and then either the sniper tower or the cannon, whichever is closest to them. It's a bit of a crapshoot at that point, but they're only single shot defenses, so we don't care. Now, I'm going to show one other thing. One thing you see in operation attacks a lot is people panic. Their attack doesn't go as well as they would like, and so what they do is they drop a barrage. And that is a pain in the ass. Like if I drop a barrage right in here, say, for example, we've got random amounts of damage. I mean, it's probably going to be... this doesn't work all that well to demonstrate when you're not doing an operation attack, because it's pretty clear to say what has the most damage here. But on an operation attack, that isn't the case. You've got... Uh-oh, this is not what I wanted to do. Let's get back into this corner, and then we'll come right to the exact same spot. I've got more boats than I wanted to do. But what we're going to see here is, I think the Zookas will take that back shock launcher first, because it's the most damage. But that I can't be certain about. So we're going to shock the same thing we've been shocking all along. And they take the most damage first, and then the second damage. So if that barrage had, say, had one rocket land on the shock launcher and one rocket land on the cannon, we wouldn't know what's going on. So if there's dropping barrages in random places on operation attacks does nothing but muddy up the waters. If you're going to use an artillery to clear mines, by all means do it, but that is a... Holy, did you see that friendly challenge? That's the basic summary of what I wanted to get across. Artillery marking is a fantastic, fantastic thing. So in this case, even if you want to use, say, one flare, like if you wanted to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and drop your smokes there, and then drop your smokes there, you're still in a pretty good spot. And now I can flare the undamaged shock launcher, and we know that after that they'll move to the other defenses, assuming they're in range. We're in a little bit different spot, so they might not be all the way in range. See how they're actually targeting the front stuff, because they're just not quite in range of that shock launcher. But you can do a combination. If there are, say, 3 buildings you want to remove, you flare one of them and you damage the other 2. You can definitely use it to your advantage. You just have to put a little bit of thought into things. And it gets a little bit tricky when there's lots of buildings around, but I'll show that example again. So if we damage, say, let's damage these 2. I'll do the exact same drop again. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll do my smoke, and I'll get right to there again. Now, you see, like, right now, they're going to take that rocket launcher, shock launcher, and then come back to the cannon and sniper tower. We don't want that, so we flare the undamaged building. They'll remove that first, because they always follow the flare first, and then they'll move on to the damaged building. So, just a way to combine the flare with the marking. You don't have to mark everything, because the next mark would have cost me 5 GBE to use an artillery. Instead, we use a flare for 3. So we save a little bit of GBE just by using a flare instead of an artillery. You don't necessarily want to mark everything. You only want to mark things that are later on in the chain. Flaring the first thing is not a bad idea. So if you have any questions or comments, please let me know. This is something that everyone should understand. If there's any questions you have whatsoever, please don't hesitate to ask me. Now, this does not work with all troop types. You need to experiment, but heavies attack the closest, warriors attack the closest. I think rifles attack the closest as well. I don't know 100%, but this tutorial is only for Zookas. I can't speak for other troops in this. Mess around with it yourself. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions, hit me up. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this makes your Boom Beach life a little bit better. Thanks for watching. Peace.